Hello everybody and welcome to the iCode channel. Today I'm going to do a two-part series to show you how to configure these iCode Duo devices, just the plain Duo on this particular series, with your Retropie. I've got a Raspberry Pi 4, I've got your Retropie connected, I copied a few Atari 2600 games on there, and I've configured it on the network. This is a network adapter, and then I've got my Duo connected through this white wire, and then I also have a keyboard connected, and I've already programmed my keyboard, and that's important. So in this part one, we'll configure the joystick, and then in this part two of the video, we'll also configure the paddles. So let's get started. Alright, so since I've got my keyboard already programmed with Retropie, it's important that you know which buttons are start and select, your fire button, your back button, and most importantly also your hotkey, which is going to be connected to your X key. So know where your X key is and your select key are, because we're going to need to get into RetroArch later on in part two of the video. But for joysticks, very straightforward, simple to do. So I'm going to go ahead and press the start button on my keyboard and go down to configure input, and I'm going to say yes, and now it's waiting for me to press the A button. I'm going to go ahead and connect my joystick to port 1 of the Retropie on the Duo adapter, and I'm going to hold down the button and it'll bring up the configuration menu for this gamepad. So it's ready for me to move the sticks around depending on which things I want to program, and we want to map the joysticks to the D-pad directions. So for D-pad up, we're going to just push up on the joystick, and you'll notice that it'll quickly automatically recognizes that as axis 1 minus. Then we're going to do down motion, left, and right. So those are the 4 directions. And then the common mistake people make here is, instead of mapping the fire button to button A, which is what you would think you would need to do, we need to actually map it to button B, because the default Stella core, 2014 core that's installed with gamepad connections, it thinks button B is your fire button. So I'm going to go ahead and push fire button on button B, and you'll notice that it says button 0, and that's all there's to it. I'm going to push down arrow to the OK, and then say yes to this so I can get into the hotkeys in case I need to. And then I'm going to push my start button to get out of the menu, and let's go ahead and try out one of the games. So a good 2-player game to test would be Combat. I'm going to go ahead and start Combat, and it is loading the core, which is the Stella 2014, LR 2014 Stella core, and it recognized both my joysticks, and it's ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and push select to go to second game, and I'm going to push start button. Okay, let's see if my directions are working. Absolutely. I can also go forward, and then I can press the fire button. If your fire button does not work, it probably means you did not map it to button B, and you probably mapped it to button A. So that's what you want to check. And then let's try player 2. I'm going to move it to the same stick to the second port here, and that's player 2. And sure enough, player 2 is also working. I'm going to go ahead and exit the game, and that concludes part 1 of this video. Please look at the links below, give us a thumbs up, and then we'll have a link to our part B video, which will cover paddles configuration for the Duo device. Thank you for watching.